want to call the April 8th City Council meeting to order. As customary, we want to first pledge allegiance. I've asked Angie Smith, our Farmington Public School Board member, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Next, I wanted to first read a statement. Okay, I want to read a statement before we start our council meeting. Good evening, community members. Thank you for joining us this evening. To those observing Ramadan Kareem, happy Ramadan. The city recognizes and appreciates the desire for those observing Ramadan, and we want to ensure that community members who wish to participate in tonight's public comment are able to both share their concerns and break their fast. We are also aware of an effort to hold a second outdoor iftar near City Hall. Typically, this type of gathering is not permitted in the area in which the group set up ahead of the last council meeting. As this serves as the main entrance to the City Hall and is an access point for during emergencies. However, City Manager Gary Mexham has asked city staff to designate an area near City Hall for the potluck this evening that will allow for a safe gathering and ensure unimpeded access to all attending the City Council meeting. Further, City Council has implemented a change moving public comment to the end of the meeting. The intent of these arrangements is to allow time for those observing Ramadan to participate in public comment following Edifar and evening prayer. I just want to make that statement there, and I'm going to ask council for roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem, can I take roll?
Yes, take roll call.
Thank you.
Yes.
Council members Aldred?
Here.
Bulaware?
Here.
Bruce?
Yes, here.
Dwyer?
Here.
Noel? Here. And Mayor Pro Tem Bridges?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Also, I'm asking council for an approval of tonight's agenda. Mr. Dwyer, Councilman Dwyer. You move to the council to approve the agenda? Okay. Do you have a second?
Support.
Supported by Councilman Boulware. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
It passes 6-0 with 1 absent, okay? All right. This next item on the agenda is an announcement from regarding from the Walled Lakes Consolidated School Board bond proposal. Julie Omer, Assistant Superintendent of Walled Lakes Consolidated District, will present to council the bond proposal.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here this evening to talk about the bond election on May 7th. Bond 2024 will help the district build opportunity and ensure the future success of students at no additional cost to taxpayers. Due to increasing property values, new housing starts, and refinancing of previous bonds, we have an opportunity to invest $250 million into our buildings while still providing the taxpayer with a tax reduction. The program includes several major initiatives: rebuilding Wixom Elementary with a brand new elementary school built on district property off of Maple Road in Wixom, significantly upgrading the district's fiber optic network, which is over 2 decades old, complete roofing and paving projects across the district, especially at all 3 high schools, make important security and infrastructure updates across the district, renovate performing arts and athletic facilities. A complete list of these projects is available at www.wlcsd.org/bond. Our current school millage levy is 4.13 mils, which means the owner of a $200,000 home, this taxable value, pays about $413 per year in school taxes. If this bond passes, this will drop to $405 per year. We've prepared a packet of information for you, which I provided to Clerk Lindahl, which has a lot of information, as well as on the district website, as I just mentioned. We're asking each of our municipal bodies to consider passing a resolution in support of this important bond initiative. A sample resolution is also included in the packet. I truly thank you for the opportunity here. We also will have opportunities, if anybody is interested, for community forums, which is on April 11th at Walnut Creek Middle School, and also April 16th at Western High School. Both of those are at 7 o'clock. Again, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Next item, introduction of Jacob Rushlow, new Director of Public Services, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. I am extremely pleased to introduce our newest addition to our city's leadership team. I think some of you had a chance to meet Jacob in the council, in the community room. Jacob Rushlow officially assumed the role of Director of Public Services for the city of Farmington Hills on April 1st, and we're really glad to have him as part of our team. Jacob brings more than 23 years of engineering and public services expertise gained both in the public and private sectors. Most recently, he served as the Assistant Director of Public Works for the city of Livonia. He also brings demonstrated proficiency in asset management, which is extremely important for our organization. We know that that's one of our tenets. Project delivery, operations, capital improvement project budgeting. His 7-year career in Livonia was marked by notable achievements and steadfast commitment to excellence. I think everybody on council knows it's very difficult to find really well-qualified individuals to help operate and serve our residents here in our community. This was no exception, and a thorough search and interview process was conducted. We had several folks that had applied, and Jacob was clearly the successful candidate, and I'm very excited to welcome Jacob as our new Director of Public Services. I have full confidence in his ability to lead this department with integrity, innovation, and dedication, and I think you all know I have a special passion for that department, and so does our Assistant City Manager. So with that, I'd love to have Jacob, give Jacob a few minutes to say some fine words here for the city of Farmington Hills. Jacob?
Yeah, thanks, Gary, and good evening, members of the council. Happy to be here. Gary covered a good portion of my background professionally. I just thought I'd mention a few things personally about myself. Get to know you all as well a little bit as we work together in the future. I'm a lifelong Michigan resident here. Live in Plymouth with my wife and 2 children. I went to the University of Toledo, ran track and cross country there for the university, earned my Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Toledo. In the summertime, I enjoy being outside a lot. I'm a big outdoorsman. I do a lot of biking, hiking, running. In the wintertime, I'm a big downhill skier. I'll be hitting the slopes as much as possible. Truly honored to be here. Happy that I went through the selection process and was given this opportunity to lead the Department of Public Service. And I really look forward to working with you all and serving this community. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say welcome, Gary, to the city. We appreciate the fact that you, Jacob, you chose Farmington Hills, and we look forward to your leadership in that department. And I'm sure council is satisfied with that department being filled with a very important position. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Okay. Next item, Historical District Commission presentation, Underground Railroad. That'll be presented by Mr. Brian Golden, the city's historian.
Good evening, council. Wow. It's really loud. Good evening, council. As you probably all know, I'm Brian Golden, the president of the Farmington Historical Society. I'm also a member of the Farmington Hills Historical Commission, and I've come to you tonight very excited to talk a little bit about the panels that are on display in the hallway here. I was graced with the opportunity to assist in the Underground Railroad project here in Oakland County, and I'm bringing a proclamation that I received from the Oakland County Board of Commissioners honoring us for a job well done. Tell you a little bit about the project. We received a grant, and because of the forethought of Leslie Pilak, who is the director of the Historical Museum in Birmingham, Michigan. She was able to acquire a grant, and from that grant, we did research on each of us as 5 outstanding communities within Oakland County, and the contributions that we were able to uncover about the Underground Railroad. This project does not pinpoint locations, although we, because Farmington Township was founded by Quakers, and Quakers were abolitionists, that's one of the main reasons why I'm here representing this community. These panels are a traveling exhibit, and we were honored by having the panels displayed here this entire month of April. It will float around to the other 4 communities that participated with the research. And the main reason for the project is to raise awareness about the Underground Railroad movement, as well as abolitionists that existed in this community and the freedom seekers that we highlighted on each of the 4 panels. So I invite you, if you haven't done so already, would be to take a look at the panels. You will learn a great deal about all that happened here in the 1850s, 1860s, and so on. So it's my honor and pleasure to announce to all of you, as well as the community, because this is a televised meeting, that the panels are here for the entire month of April. Please enjoy them, use them, learn from them. That's why they're here.
Thank you. Councilmember, any comments, or? Wanted to say, Brian, we appreciate the fact that you have come to council with this wonderful presentation regarding the Underground Railroad and the role of Farmington played in that particular time in our history of the city and our country. So we appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Next item, Beautification Commission Report, 2023 Annual Report. We have Alex Clark and Kathy Brown.
Good evening. Oh, I got to put that down there. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. My name is Kathy Brown. I'm the commissioner on the Farmington Hills Beautification Commission and the secretary. I'm also a director on the Beautification Council of Southeastern Michigan and the corresponding secretary. I know that you've gotten a letter in your packet, but I want to read the letter also and make some comments as I do that. I hope that's okay. As you know, the commission hosts 2 large and 2 small events that need funding each year. The Carol Posby Litter Walk. For this annual event, the commission coordinates volunteers from homeowner associations, community organizations, and individuals to pick up debris along our main highways. We provide the volunteers with gloves, large plastic trash bags, and brightly colored T-shirts so they may safely clean up our roadways. Last year, the DPW filled 2 20-yard dumpsters with debris and yard waste and collected by over 200 volunteers, and that's the equivalent of 260-plus trash bags and brown compost bags. I'm the coordinator of the litter walk this year, and I am happy to say that I have registered 27 groups consisting of 228 participants, which is more than last year, so I'm pretty happy. This event is scheduled on Saturday, April 27th. Beautification Awards. To promote beautification and environmental improvements throughout the city, The commission recognizes the efforts of businesses, offices, apartment complexes, subdivisions, condominiums, places of worship, etc., who strive to present attractive, well-maintained landscapes at their entrance. The commissioners visit nominated sites to judge them on various criteria, such as landscape variety, imaginative use of color, overall property maintenance, too. To acknowledge these efforts, we host an award ceremony, which consists of a guest speaker or two, slide presentation of the award recipient property, a plaque for the Commissioner's Choice winner, and beautiful award signs for the winners to stake on their premises. I know you've probably seen those at the entrances of subdivisions and condominiums and things, big round signs with beautiful flowers on them. So those are their awards. We also have catered light refreshments are provided at the reception. This past year, I invited the president of the BCSEM, Beautification Council of Southeastern Michigan, and a director from KMB. No. Keep Michigan Beautiful. I knew it would come to me. And they were very impressed with our slide presentation of the sites that had submitted entries. And they also loved the round signs that we awarded participants. We have 2 plant swaps, one in the spring and one in the fall. And we have people that exchange their garden plants and plants-related products, along with sharing their knowledge with fellow plant lovers in the community. These swaps are held in Heritage Park, and we provide coffee and donuts to the attendees. The spring would be held on Saturday, May 11th, and the fall will be held on Saturday, September 14th. KMB and BCSEM. In addition to our community events, the Farmington Hills Beautification Commission is a member of 2 organizations committed to promoting beautification in our state: Keep Michigan Beautiful and the Beautification Council of Southeastern Michigan. Our city has been dues-paying members of BCSEM for 61 years and received a recognition award which proudly hangs in our city hall around the corner. One of our commissioners is a director, and that would be me. BCSEM consists of many cities' beautification groups located in 4 counties. They have quarterly meetings which are attended by many members and are hosted by different communities who provide speakers and a luncheon. Attendees learn about challenges in other cities, different projects being planned or worked on, and they share ideas to improve beautification efforts. We would like to host a BCSEM quarterly meeting. Each attendee purchases a $20 ticket, which helps provide money for the luncheon. We would also receive a $200 stipend from BCSEM and seek sponsors to provide monetary and prize donations. There's always a nice raffle. It makes people happy. However, with our reduced budget, we think it would be nearly impossible to host this worthwhile event. So our request is, from the Farmington Hills Beautification Commission, to ask that you contemplate a significant increase in our budget. We request this increase so we may continue to advise the City Council about beautification and environmental concerns and promote and acknowledge projects of beautification and improvements in our city. During the past 10 years, our expenses have averaged $5,500 for all our events. During the past several years, the Commission has received a yearly budget of $2,500 and is requesting another $4,500. So we may continue to offer our annual events, consider additional projects, and host our fellow BCSM members at a quarterly meeting in 2005. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Question from council? We want to say, Mrs. Brown, we appreciate your presentation, and we have budget meetings scheduled for, I think it's May 9th and 10th?
14 and 15.
14th, 15th.
15th and 16th.
Okay, 15th, 16th. And we will definitely consider your request, okay?
Fingers crossed.
Thank you, appreciate that. All right. Mr. Clark, right? Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. My name is Alex Clark. I'm the Chair of the Beautification Commission. I'd like to thank City Council for giving us an opportunity to hear our request for increased budget funding. The we've prepared some slides to provide some visualization as to what the funds for our commission supports. And these will show some of the activities that we've done annually. So this first slide, it shows pictures from the annual awards ceremony. Some of the city council members may be familiar with this event, having attended it in the past. As already noted, we present awards to various residential and commercial properties for presenting attractive landscaping. This event takes up much of our budget due to the cost of securing a venue, obtaining catering, and the printing of programs and awards. This next slide is the plant swap event that takes place a couple times a year. In the past, we've made refreshments available for participants. And this last slide shows our annual litter walk, which occurs in the spring and is a very popular event, attracting hundreds of participants who volunteer to clean up the public areas near their neighborhoods. We provide garbage bags, gloves, and also traditionally we offer T-shirts for the participants for use at the events. As already noted by Ms. Brown in her letter to the council, and hopefully what these slides show, is that the funding allowed for our commission is put to good use. The budget as currently set for the Beautification Commission would set some limits on us being able to do these types of activities that we've done for the past years or even decades. As such, we respectfully ask the council to consider our budget increase request. Again, I thank the City Council and Mayor Pro Tem for the opportunity to present our request for a budget increase. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Appreciate you. Okay. Next item is correspondence. And any council got any council member got any statements to make regarding correspondence they received? Councilman Ulrich? Where? Okay. None received. I did not receive any as well. Okay. Next item is the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine, administrative, or non-controversial by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests, in which event the item may be removed from the consent agenda for consideration. The consent agenda will be read by Council Member Valerie Knoll.
Item 11, recommended approval of the salary increase requested by the city manager and a follow-up to closed session review. Item 12, recommended approval of a special event permit for the Farmington Community Library outdoor family party to be held on June 29, 2024. Item 13, recommended approval of award of contract for the Fairway Hills Drive Road Reconstruction Project to Fonson Company Incorporated in the amount of $905,887.88. And this is CMR 4-24-36. Item 14, recommended approval of award of contract for the Trustane Road Reconstruction Project to Nagel Paving Company in the amount of $443,996.59. And this is CMR 4-24-37. Item 15, recommended approval of a request for employment under Section 10.01A of the City Charter for a seasonal parks laborer. Item 16, recommended approval of the City Council special study session meeting minutes of March 18, 2024. Item 17, recommended approval of City Council study session meeting minutes of March 25, 2024. And item 18, recommended approval of City Council regular session meeting minutes of March 25, 2024.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Knoll. The council, a pleasure. Councilman Bruce.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I will move the approval of the consent agenda items 11 through 18 as read by Ms. Knoll.
Support.
Supported by Councilmember Boulware. Clerk will call the roll.
Council members Aldred,
Yes.
Olaware,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
Dwyer,
Yes.
Knoll,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is that council members' comments and announcements. Councilmember Aldridge, you have any comments or announcements today?
Not this evening, no, thank you.
Councilmember Dwyer? No. Okay, Councilmember Boulware?
No.
Okay, no? Mr. Bruce? Okay, thank you. No, I have no comments to make this morning. I'm just basically proceeding with the agenda. Next item on the agenda is the city manager updates. City Manager Gary Meksham, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and it's hard for me to say that. And good evening, City Council. I have a few things. So just wanted to let our watchers know that our city has shined very brightly in the last few months, especially with events that took place at the Hawk, most recently the State of the County address that was held at the Hawk on Thursday night. Our staff, I wanted to give a special tip of the Farmington Hills cap to our Farmington Hills staff. They did a great job of hosting that event. We made sure, our police department made sure people were safe. There was just a lot of work in the backgrounds that really made it a really good event. And I'm very proud to be the city manager of this fair city when we do our very best to that effect. And speaking of doing our very best, I don't know if you saw the Facebook post or not. This I think it was this afternoon, but my hat's off again to our Farmington Hills firefighter paramedic Sergeant Tom Pershino and Robin Chevret, who responded to a 911 call last week with a couple that was in labor. Actually, the husband was probably driving, the woman was doing all the work, right? Like they usually are. But the baby just couldn't wait. And luckily, our firefighter and paramedics were on site to help deliver the baby and help the family in distress. The baby was actually delivered in the passenger seat of the vehicle, and then they were transported to the hospital. And mom and dad are doing just fine. And so we welcome, I think, baby Jacob into the world. And then lastly, another high note for our staff. Wanted to let council know, this is a late breaker, I just got this afternoon, that our wonderful police chief, Jeff King, was appointed by Governor Gretchen Whitmer to the Governor's Traffic Safety Advisory Commission, filling a spot that was vacated by an individual that had retired earlier this year. So congratulations to Jeff.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, City Manager Meksham. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business. Consideration of approval of enactment of ordinance C-2, 2024, amending the Farmington Hills Code of Ordinances, Chapter 17, nuisances. Article 7, performance standards, Section 17-101, noise for purpose of aiding a new subsection of 17-101E. 2, to prohibit noise that is audible on adjacent residential property emanating from the engine of any parked or standing commercial vehicle or tractor trailer while loading or unloading or while waiting to load or unload its cargo. If such vehicle is parked or standing for such purposes for a period of more than 20 minutes, and approval of summary publication. Mrs. Charlene, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Director of Community Development. Thank you.
Charmaine Kettler-Schmaltz, Planning and Community Development Director. Thank you for the introduction. This is the second reading for this particular ordinance. I will leave it to the council to see if they have any questions on it or any requests for additional information.
Council, what's your pleasure?
You know, we've discussed this for a couple weeks now,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
it's, we've had thorough discussion of it. I don't have any questions.
Thank you.
Anymore.
Yeah, the council spent many hours discussing this issue, and this is the second reading, meaning that after this particular action today will become part of our code of ordinances, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Council, we will entertain a motion for approval. Yes, Councilman Boulware.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the enactment of Ordinance C-2-2024, amending the Farmington Hills Code of Ordinances, Chapter 17, nuisance, Article 7, performance standards, Section 17-101, noise, for purposes of adding a new subsection, 17-101 E2, to prohibit noise that is audible on adjacent residential property emanating from the engine of any parked or standing commercial truck or trailer or tractor trailer while loading or unloading, or while waiting to load or unload its cargo if such vehicle is parked or standing for such purposes for a period of more than 20 minutes, and approval of summary for publication.
Moved by Councilmember Boulware. Seconded by Councilmember Aldridge. Clerk will call the roll.
Council members Knoll,
Support.
Dwyer,
Support.
Bruce,
Yes.
Bulaware,
Yes?
Aldred,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is item 7, consideration of approval of enactment of ordinance C-3, 2024, amending the Farmington Hills Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, offenses. Article 5, offenses against public peace, for purpose of repealing Section 18-165, loading or unloading of trucks, and approval of summary for publication. Mrs. Chanel again. Charmaine.
Thank you for the introduction. This is the companion piece to the previous amendment. Again, this is a second reading, and if there are any questions, I'd be happy to entertain.
No questions? Again, council had discussed this on a couple of sessions. We've talked about this. This is the second reading of this particular ordinance, and this is after this particular action today, it will be enacted or not enacted. Council, it's your pleasure. What's your pleasure regarding this ordinance?
Sure.
Councilmember Knoll.
Sure, I'll make a motion here to approve the enactment of an ordinance C-3, 2024, amending the Farmington Hills Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, offenses, Article 5, offenses against public peace, for purposes of repealing Section 18-165, loading or unloading of trucks, and approval of summary for publication.
Motion by Councilmember Knoll, seconded by Councilmember Boulware. Clerk, call the roll.
Council members Bulaware,
Yes?
Bruce,
Yes.
Dwyer,
Yes.
Knoll,
Yes.
Aldred,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 8, consideration of an approval of an enactment of ordinance C-4, 2024, to authorize the conveyance of city-owned property, parcel 22-2302-153009 to Everall Small, and approval of summary for publication. This is Mrs. Brockway.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem Michael Bridges and Council. Thank you for having me. This is the second reading for the enactment of the conveyance related to the city-owned property located off of Highview. I'm here to entertain any questions or comments that the council may have.
No questions. I want to advise the public, the council did discuss this issue at a study session, and this is the second reading of this particular proposed ordinance. If the decision is yes or no, that will make the decision today regarding enactment. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I move to the approval of the enactment of ordinance C-4 2024 to authorize the conveyance of city-owned property parcel 22-23-02-153-009 to Everold Small, and approval of summary for publication.
Motion by Councilmember Aldridge, seconded by Councilmember Dwyer. Clerk, call the roll.
Council members Knoll,
Yes.
Dwyer,
Yes.
Bruce,
Yes.
Bulaware,
Yes?
Aldred,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is new business. Item 9, consideration of appointment to various boards and commissions. The mayor has proposed appointments to boards and commissions. You had the opportunity to read those boards and commission appointments. Council, what's your pleasure there? With a motion from
Sure.
Councilmember Knoll.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the following. For the Commission on Community Health, Yvette Steins. This would be for a 3-year term ending February 1, 2027. For the Economic Development Corporation, Vivienne Rousseau, this would be for unexpired term. It's a replacement for a vacancy, and the term ending February 1, 2027. Also, Cassie Clark. This is also to fill a vacancy, and the term ending would be February 1, 2029. Then we have a committee to increase voter participation, Jim Molnar. Also, he'll be an alternate vacancy, and the term ending February 1, 2027. And then also on the Farmington Area Arts Commission, Craig Nowak. And this is also to fill a regular vacancy, and this is a 3-year term ending February 1, 2027.
Support.
Motion by Councilmember Knoll, supported by Councilmember Bruce. And this is, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Appointments are made. Thank you. Item 10, a consideration of the selection of a voting delegate and alternate. Oh, sorry. Are there any opposition to the motion? No, I'm sorry. Okay. No opposition. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Counselor. I appreciate that. Item 10, consideration of a selection of the voting delegate and alternate voting delegate for Southeast Michigan Council of Government. Counselor, what's your pleasure there? Councilmember Boulware.
I had a comment, so
Okay.
do I wait for a motion or?
No, you can make a comment
Okay.
first, please.
I am somewhat confused by this particular selection because I was under the impression that back in January 2022, I was voted as the voting delegate for the Southeast Michigan Council of Government, SEMCOG. And there was no term expiration at that point, that appointment was voted on by council. So my concern is that we're voting for a voting delegate again, and I'm somewhat confused by the process.
I'm too.
Give me an explanation from you to the city manager or to the city attorney? Sure. Okay, city attorney.
It's indefinite. We haven't had.
So, you know, as far as I understand with respect to SEMCOG, City Council has indeed appointed you as the voting delegate. If anything, this would, and I understand tonight there would be a motion to reappoint you to that, to continue in that position or not. I think that my understanding is I don't see in the agenda packet who is proposed to fill the positions.
Is it not in there?
And my understanding was that the alternate was going to be addressed as well.
That's correct. So my understanding is that the voting delegate was Councilmember Boulware, and the alternate was the mayor, Teresa Reg.
Previously, it was Ms.
Right.
Bridges.
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't at the role before.
right.
But I would yield to that position to Councilmember Mayor Rich if that's what we need to do in order to.
That's council's discretion. I thought there was a discussion on that.
So I guess my question is a vote required for me to remain on SEMCOG as a voting delegate? In lieu of there's no process or procedure around that?
Okay, attorney.
Right, well, technically, if City Council did not take any action to reappoint you tonight, you are correct. You would continue as the appointed voting delegate on SEMCOG. And that's why I indicated they could vote to reappoint you and continue that this evening if they wanted, if council wanted. But as Mayor Pro Tem Bridges explained, he's willing to yield his alternate position to the mayor, which I think is the primary purpose of being on the agenda this evening.
So do we need a motion for an alternate?
There would at minimum be a need for a motion for the alternate. If there is no motion made on the voting delegate, it would remain Councilmember Boulware.
Yes.
I have a question. I just have a question. So the alternate spot, there's nothing in the rules that it has to be the mayor, correct? In the past, anyone could nominate someone from council, anyone who was interested, correct?
That's true.
Yes, I have reviewed the bylaws of SEMCOG, and it doesn't specify it is automatically the mayor or anything to that effect.
Okay, because in the past, we've typically, when it comes to all of the boards and commissions, usually as a group, we've sat down and said, who's interested in what? And people have raised their hand, and In many cases, if more than one person is interested, we kind of work it out or give a reason why we think we should have it more than the other, and then the council votes on who they think it should be. Usually it doesn't come to that. Usually if more than one person are interested, we kind of say, okay, I'll yield and you can do it, but
So Councilmember No, I would think that a table would be in order if you want to table that alternate decision to a later date to allow council members to determine if they want to serve as alternate, right?
well, we could, if we're going to do the appointment of the delegate tonight, aren't we also going to do the appointment of the alternate? We could ask if anyone's interested.
Yes.
I'm interested in the alternate.
Okay. Councilman Bruce expressed an interest in being the alternate. So do we need to take a vote right now on that particular alternate position, or how do we do that regarding determining who will be the
I'm just
alternate?
trying to be fair. And ask everyone.
Before Rich and Bruce to be voted on that position, or how we do that?
Well, it would be, technically, with appointments, it would be nominations to the position, and anybody nominated would be in the running, and then you would do a voting process for that.
All right. So can we conduct it tonight, both of those?
You could do that tonight, you could do that at a future meeting, you could table this until you have more information, whatever you choose, or postpone it, I should say, is the proper procedure if you decide to do that.
Is it council wish to vote on it tonight or move forward a postponement?
Tonight.
Tonight?
Good voting on it tonight.
All right. So we have two candidates up for the alternate position, Councilmember Bruce and Mayor Rich. So we do a vote right now. Who, clerk, could you call a roll on that for me, please, regarding who will, need both those candidates? Motion. We need a motion to allow for that change that we just talked about.
You would do a motion to close nominations first.
Okay.
And has anybody nominated Mayor Rich at this point on council? I know I mentioned it, but I obviously can't nominate anybody.
First question is, do we want to close the nominations? Right now, we have Councilmember Bruce and Mayor Rich as the alternate choices.
Well, it doesn't sound like Mayor Rich has actually been nominated yet unless you're nominating her.
I'm willing to nominate the mayor, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yes. All right.
So then I will move that the nominations be closed and we proceed to a vote.
Okay.
For both the alternate and the delegate position.
All right.
Regular
Yep.
vote for this?
Yes, one of the procedures is to call on each council member to express who they
yes,
voted,
I'm
who
sorry.
they are voting for the position.
Councilmember Aldred.
Excuse me, what was the question? I didn't hear it.
Your nomination?
No,
No.
the nominations been declared closed?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
at this point, we are voting on, the mayor is called to vote on who is voting for which of the two nominees.
Are we doing alternate first or delegate first?
Yep.
I think
Are we
we've done the
voting on first?
nominations on the alternate at this point, is my understanding.
So the vote right now is on the alternate, you're saying?
Those were the nominations that I understood were being made, yes.
All right. Why don't you call a vote for the alternate then, Madam Clerk?
Okay. Council members Aldred.
So the vote is either Bruce or
Rich.
Mayor Rich. Bruce.
Councilmember Bolware.
Bruce.
Councilmember Dwyer.
Councilman Bruce.
Councilmember Knoll.
Bruce?
Councilmember Bruce.
Bruce.
Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
I'll go Rich, okay?
Okay. That is going to be 5 for Bruce and 1 for Rich.
Okay.
And do we actually have to vote for, even though we have only one for delegate, do we still have to vote just to make it official?
Make a motion on it.
For Councilmember Bolaware on the
For delegate,
voting delegate, as I indicated, council previously approved Councilwoman Bolaware to be the voting delegate. You could reaffirm that this evening to make sure the record is clear if you choose to. They're both on the agenda as I see it, so you could take action on both. If you do not, she will remain as the voting delegate.
Well, just for clarification and just for affirmation, I'd like to be reaffirmed in that position. And sometimes in the future at a study session, put a process around this delegate to SEMCOG and alternate, so we'll know exactly where we stand on that.
So we have a vote for to make it official?
Well, you would ask if there are any other nominations?
Are there any nominations for the delegate for the SEMCOG?
Move to
Other than
close.
Jackie Boulware?
Move to close.
All right, a motion been made to close the nomination. Nomination is closed. Carly, you should call the vote.
Is it a roll call vote again?
Sure. Yes, just to be consistent.
Council members, Knoll.
For Bulawar.
Dwyer.
Boulware.
Bruce.
Boulware.
Bulaware.
Me?
Aldred.
Boulware.
Mayor Pro Tem Bridges.
Boulware.
Thank you.
All right, so our official delegates are to the SEMCOG, Southeast Michigan Council of Government would be, a delegate would be Councilmember Jackie Boulware. Our alternate will be Councilmember Randy Bruce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let the record show that, okay? All right, we move forward now with new, we already did boards and commissions, we did SEMCOG, and the next step is public comment. All right, I got some words to say about public comment before public comment can take place. Persons shall not speak unless recognized by the chair. B, prior to addressing council, members of the public shall come before the public microphone, state their name, if appropriate, any group affiliation. Next step is that comments shall be directed to council and not to or at other persons. Persons must address council by speaking. They shall not yield their time to the other speakers, and they shall not play audio or video recordings. While comment upon the action, comment can be based on the action, inaction, or performance of city council and the city of Farmington Hills, commissions, boards, and employees and consultants is allowed. Profane, vulgar, abusive language, and personal attacks would not be tolerated. If speakers have material they wish to hand out to members of council, they must inform or signal the city clerk on the end here, who will receive the information from them and the speaker and to hand them out. Members of the public shall not disturb speakers at the podium and shall not interrupt council members or staff while they are speaking during a meeting or otherwise disrupt a council meeting. Lastly, comments by persons in the audience by voice, clapping, or otherwise showing approval or disapproval of any remarks of the speaker or members of the public are not allowed. These rules will be enforced, abide by, and we will issue a warning first. Secondly, they will be asked to leave the council chamber. The second step is, and thirdly, we will ask the law enforcement to assist us in the council of our decisions. Thank you. All right, first person up to the microphone, come up to the microphone and for public comment. State your name and your city you're in.
Good evening. Angie Smith, Farmington Hills. Usually when we do the Pledge of Allegiance with the school board, we do get a ink pen or something, but in this case, you guys could have given me a piece of chocolate or something. No, I'm just joking, but no, I got those in the car.
Angie?
I'm here tonight not as a member of the community. I am here as a school board member. And I'm here first to say congratulations to Councilman Bruce and Councilwoman Boulware for holding those positions. They will be well served. But I also want to say, and I'm going by alphabetical order, I'm not excusing anyone. I want to thank Councilman John Aldred, Jackie Boulware, Randy Bruce, Michael Bridges, Valerie Knoll, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you yet, former Chief Dwyer. Thank you for the support, and also to Gary, who has an open door all the time to listen to learn, not listen to defend, and be supportive of our schools and listen to what's going on. I want to thank each and every one of you for being there and taking the time to either have coffee with me or talking to me by phone or even having dinner with me. I want to thank you so much, and Ms. Knoll coming and speaking on behalf of our program and having that conversation with me about IB. We have a great city council, and I love the fact that you all are working together and no dividing amongst all of you. But thank you for your support. It's not a secret, and I'm being very transparent. We do have a divide right now with both cities and our schools, but each and every one of you have taken the opportunity and the time to sit down and have a conversation with me and listen, because there's always three sides to the story: my side, their side, and the truth, and we all know the truth. But I want to thank you all for all the work that you're doing to keep this city together and work with us in the schools, because as we know, when our schools fail, our community fails. And you all have tried to continue to keep that bridge together with us. So I want to thank you all for all the hard work that you do. We all know that it's hard to be an elected official. You guys make more money than I do, but at the end of the day, thank you all. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Okay. Yes, you're up next. Okay. State your name and your city you live at, or any organization you're affiliated with.
Well, people know me as PG.
PG, okay.
I'm a homeowner in this city. I pay taxes in this city. And I'm also a homeowner in the city of Southfield. I also pay taxes in Southfield. And the two cities are my most favorite cities, second to where I'm originally from, which is Brooklyn, New York. First of all, I want to give a shout out to our police chief for getting that appointment to that committee by Governor Gretchen Whitmer. To all the residents that called me and inquired about the last time I spoke before this council, I want to thank you. And a couple of residents were concerned about some of the comments that I made. And I made those comments based on a history that probably most of you don't know about. I was concerned about the fact that a resident of the city of Southfield was allowed to get up and make very disparaging remarks, and he was not stopped. I was concerned about the fact that when I attempted to give a rebuttal, since my name was mentioned, that I was stopped. That person has since apologized, and they have been informed as to some history that they did not know about. So whenever you hear me saying something to the people that support me in this city and to the people that have called me, know that it's something behind it, and I will always give you that narrative if you're concerned about it. So I just wanted to put that out there. I am in the process. People have asked me about the next town hall study session for the two police chiefs. I am in the process of planning something. I'm putting the finishing touches on it. I'm also looking for more community support, so I will be reaching out to the same people and asking you to do the same thing, but let's make it bigger and better. I never disclose the topics because other organizations like to take your ideas, and one of the sessions that we did, I was really disappointed that a lot of the partnering organizations did the same similar event before we did our event. So I didn't understand that as an event planner, but be that as it may. I think that we need to maybe get some ordinances put in place that would address some of the homeowner association issues. We have a lot of homeowner associations that are antiquated in their bylaws and their covenant conditions and restrictions. And I think most of these people that are on these HOA boards and architectural control committees, they are not savvy in terms of understanding and comprehending bylaws or deed restrictions. They're antiquated,
And when we talk about changing with the times, we also have to change every aspect of community, and that's one of them. And I think it's so much selective enforcement that goes on in these HOAs. Some of the selective enforcement is because they don't know any better. Some of the selective enforcement is because they don't know the city ordinances, when a permit is required, when a permit is not required. They don't understand the conditions as far as tree removal and what you have to do. So I would like to see the city council move a little bit forward in terms of reaching out to the HOAs here in this city to try to get something that's going to make them more resident-friendly. You know, HOAs are supposed to be an organization where you promote community, you promote subdivision, and it seems like these HOAs are nothing more than oppression tools. It seems like some of these HOAs, just because they don't understand, and it's been that way for 30, 40, 50 years, you cannot expect the neighborhood to improve and attract first-time home buyers with kids and keep the neighborhood populated if your laws and your rules and bylaws are antiquated. So and I don't know if this is possible, can the city council come up with some ordinances that will address homeowners associations? That's the first question. And number two, can you have maybe a more public meeting where you would talk about HOAs and bringing them together?
Thank you, Mrs. Gerald. You want to respond to that?
I'd be happy to respond to council regarding the questions asked.
I would like you to just respond regarding HOAs and city ordinances. I know that's a separate, it's treated as separate regarding HOAs.
At this time during public comment?
Right now.
Okay, yes, Mr. Chair. You know, the general rule that we follow at the city is that the city does not enforce homeowner association rules and restrictions in individual associations. However, on some of the applications that come in, one of them that comes to mind is the fence application, because that's a typical issue that's run into in homeowners association. There is a notice on the application that the applicant, before putting up a fence, even if the city approves it, should check with their homeowners association. That's a general rule. If you're in a homeowners association, you should always check with your homeowners association, even if you get zoning approvals from the city. Your homeowner association rules could be more restrictive than the city ordinances. And the reverse may be true as well. So just because your homeowners association rules allow you to do something, it may be prohibited under our zoning ordinance, and the zoning ordinance is going to dictate over, you know, in terms of the city's enforcement. And vice versa, the city will not enforce those homeowners association rules. The associations themselves are responsible for enforcing them. So those are the general rules and parameters that surround it. There is some confusion in the community now and then regarding that. I think when city staff gets calls in this nature, it's routinely explained. I think it's pretty well understood through Ms. Kettler-Schmaltz's department, and they're trained to respond to those citizens who call with those types of questions and provide them that guidance on how to handle them.
Thank you, appreciate that. Okay, anyone else from the public would like to speak? Mr. Paul, my Panera Bread buddy.
Yes, Paul Hike, 40-year resident, moved in October of '84. Used to work on the committees and so forth, many of them that you have alluded to. I want to comment on two things. One was an idea that somebody came up with around 2010. They put together a committee of 55 people to work on 5 different subjects. I was on the education group of 11 and so forth. And we met every month for the whole year. And then we met twice in total with all the groups making reports and so forth. And the feeling was that there was some really cool things that developed from that. Were any of you aware of that or remember that at all, if that happened? Yeah, it was an idea that, like I say, it happened in 2010. And there were 55 volunteers from the community. Most of them had some passion, myself included. Second reason that I'm here tonight is the deer. Since we've been here, there seems to be two subjects that we can't get totally satisfied. One of them is roads, and the other one is deer. Okay, I'm here to talk about deer. When we looked at the deer population, what to do and so on and so forth, Ann Arbor has done their things and other communities have done theirs. The answer was very quickly this. Let's do something, and we do it, and we get rid of our deer, but then the deer come from Livonia, and they come from Southfield, and they come from Novi, and pretty soon you're right back where you started. One of the deficiencies was the state never seemed to be involved in it or had a program. On the Friday, they came out with an article, which I've given the assistant director a copy of the newspaper. It was Friday the 5th, and it just briefly, residents have until April 16th to fill out a brief online survey, and the subject is deer management. Okay, and so here is a chance to put thoughts in front of the state committee that will look at it from input that comes from the UP, from southeastern Michigan and southwestern Michigan, and so forth. So I think it's a great opportunity. They put down to fill out the survey, go to michigan.gov, G-O-V, /deer. That's all there is to it. And I'm just going to briefly, there's a full page, but I'm just going to briefly talk about the three things that they state here. First is it's the Department of Natural Resources that is doing the work on a state level. Residents have until April 16th to reply, and they encourage it. And again, it's michigan.gov /deer. And the third thing is the department encourages anyone to take the survey, not just hunters, and they want the answers back by the 16th of April. So that leaves only 8 days, which is a short amount of time. And I think that it's worthwhile to take a look at one more time here and see if we can't participate with the state and maybe even feed the state some input that would be helpful.
Okay. Paul, I just want to let you know that council is quite aware of that particular initiative. In fact, we're part of it. Okay. It's called the Deer Management Initiative. Yep. We all attended a recent South Oakland city managers mayor's meeting, and we had a presentation from DNR, and we are a participating city in that particular regional initiative. Okay. Looking at that, and we are very much aware of that particular issue, and we are involved in trying to figure out a regional solution to the problem. So we're aware of that, yes.
I would ask one more thing. That very first thing that I brought up, there should be some paper somewhere or somebody with knowledge of how that 55 people, and there were some pretty significant people in the city that participated. And like I say, we met for a whole year, 2 or 3 times a month. Yeah. And I'm not sure where it ended up at 83. I'm sort of 10 years behind. Yeah. Where?
Behind you, Paul, is Karen Mandora. I'm sure she'll be ready to help you and research that issue and see what happened in 2010, okay. and see where we can find a way to revive that situation.
Yeah, okay? At least look at it again, right, and evaluate it. Thank you.
Let's talk to Karen Mandora right behind you, okay? Please, thank you. Okay, all right. All right, anybody have some public comment? State your name and your organization or your city you're from.
My name is Keith Harris. I live in Southfield. I love to talk when my wife talks because she's so good at it, but she's not feeling well today. But the first thing I will say, I love your police chief. He's open, and I like that. You know, he's not evasive when you ask him questions. He's straightforward, and he talks to you, not at you. So I respect that. And the other thing I respect is the professionalism of this council. Out of all the councils I've been in front of, this is by far one of the most professional. I hope that this city keep electing people like you. Please keep electing people like you with an open mind and not a closed one. Most of my kids live in Farmington Hills. My grandkids, I'm so proud of them. All of my kids are professionals. My oldest son is an Army Ranger. He's been deployed twice. He's married. He's going to move to Farmington Hills. My youngest son is now working for the Detroit Police Department, but he's moving to Southfield. He's moving out of my house, but he's moving to Farmington. My sister, all of my kids live here, and my grandkids. And so far, we haven't had any problems. But what I allow people to do with my grandbabies is instill fear in their hearts and their minds against the police department. I won't allow that. Not with my son being a police officer. So, we got this thing we're going to try to do with the chief is to let my grandkids meet him. I've met quite a few police officers, and they've been open to me. We do all of our shopping here. We practically live here. So my wife wants to move here. So me, I got to keep a happy life with the wife. I got to go where she tell me to go. So we will be moving here probably sometime next year. And I'm going to be a proud homeowner to say I'm a part of this community. I don't believe in the word racism. I don't believe in that. I think it's bad in every religion, every race. I think we got troubles everywhere. But the best way to work on it is to talk about it. Some people say I'm a racist because I call everybody out. I won't lie for you, and I won't lie on you. Recently, before I retired, I was working, and two black guys that I knew, they were always troublemakers. They wanted to rape a pregnant white woman. And they only wanted to rape her because they said she was unattractive. I fought for her with my whole life. I really did, until she won a large settlement. It cost me a lot when I lived in Detroit. It cost me an awful lot. People was telling me I wasn't black, but I wasn't hearing it, because you don't do that to any race. We have to do better. I don't see any of y'all skin color. I just see people. And this is how we have to fix things. When I look at people trying to bring a bad light on Farmington and trying to protest out in front of your municipal building and do these things, understand, I've been an advocate. I'm 66 years of age. I've been dealing with protesters for 30-something years of my life. But some of these protesters are staged. I've seen some of these attorneys give $100 a piece to get people to come out here with these handwritten signs and say you're a bad city. And I stand up against that. I tell you again, you got a great city. Keep doing the work you're doing. Make sure each and every person that you pick to sit on these seats, you vet them real good, because you got some people running for these seats that you need to do criminal background checks on, felony background checks on. Be very careful, people. You're beautiful. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. My kids are proud of you. And I'm proud of what my kids are proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Harris. Anyone else from the public wants to comment to council? Okay. With that, council, we have the attorney's report. Want to accept that? Okay. Council accepts the attorney report, and the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Councilmember Bruce, seconded by Councilmember Knoll to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, Farmington Hills.